Every one of us will get our turn. Everyone will get their turn. One day, we will all experience death. I don't mean to be morbid, but I do mean to be real. I'm gonna tell you something that you probably already know. You will not live forever. There's been a lot of people throughout history who thought they stumbled upon an elixir that would cause them to live a life of immortality. And unfortunately, they soon found out that everyone feels the sting of death at some point or another. You know, mortality, my mortality, death, all the above has been on my mind lately. You know, because it's the one thing that none of us can escape. They call it the great equalizer. Don't matter how much money you got, don't matter how much influence you got, don't matter how much muscle you got, how fit you are, we all gonna experience death one day, you know? And that's really wild when you think about it. Just to know that life as you know it will one day end. You know, those chapters in your book of life will one day cease. You know? I say all that to say, enjoy your life. Enjoy your life. Be present. Be in the moment. You know, enjoy your loved ones. Enjoy your friends. And just enjoy life. Enjoy every aspect of life. Enjoy the struggles. Enjoy the triumphs. Because one day, this whole experience will cease to exist. And so will you. Plan for the future, but realize that you don't know whether you have the next 24 hours, 48 hours, or 72 hours. You don't know what's gonna happen. You don't know what's gonna happen. Life is unpredictable. Life can change in a matter of seconds. I say all that to say, with that being said, it's especially concerning, sad, unexpected when someone young passes away. And I'm talking about, I mean, you know, that's relative. But I'm talking 21, 23. It was this girl, you know, just recently, you know, who she was one of the I guess you can call them authors for the Virginia Living magazine, or editor. 23 years old, got hit by a car. Person made an illegal turn and hit her, killed her, and it was a hit and run. They left the scene of the crime. She was leaving. Her job was not even a block away from where she got hit. Her co-workers, you know, said that she left at 5:30, and like a couple minutes later, as other co-workers were leaving, they discovered that she had been hit by a car. They didn't realize it was her until they got closer, and they saw her jacket. They saw her lunchbox and so on and so forth. She laid out in the street, and they working desperately to revive her, to no avail. You asked her, if you could, if she had any idea that would happen. It was just an ordinary Monday. So I just say, be conscious of your decisions. Be conscious of every waking second, every minute that you have on this earth, because you're not promised the next. You know, they always talk about the average lifespan for a man is like 70 years old, and for women it's a little older. But think about all the many things that could happen before you even get anywhere close to 70. You can get a terminal illness and die. You know, you can get in a car accident. You can be the victim of gun violence. So on and so forth, man. So many things can happen to you. And I don't say that again to cause paranoia or to fearmonger or to, you know, again, be morbid. I just say all that to be real. It's funny to me that, you know, we leave the house, you know, we call ourselves, you know, going to the grocery store, and we tell our people, I'll be back. Confidently, as if we know that we're gonna walk back through that door. And we don't. We do not know if we're gonna walk back through that door. We don't know if that's the last time we will ever see the people that we love. You never know when the last time is that you'll speak to someone, or they'll speak to you. When you'll hug someone, kiss someone, share a laugh with someone, have a drink with someone. You just never know. I've seen it. I'm sure you have too. I had a buddy of mine who was on his way to work, and a drunk driver went barreling through a red light and hit him, killed him right there on the spot. Hit him so hard that his SUV, they were in a mid-size SUV. He was in like a, what do you call them? Suburban. Hit his truck and flipped it. He died instantly, and he was a big dude. Big dude. And that's just one of many. I'm on my way to the gym now. And you be so confident. Last thing you're thinking about is that this may be the last moments you have on earth. That's the last thing that we're thinking about. But it could very well be. I'll tell you a quick story. A couple months ago, not more than a couple months ago, a few months ago, I was here at the crib, and I was not having a good day. It wasn't anything dramatic, too dramatic going on, but it just was one of them days, you know what I'm saying? Work was not going the way I thought work should go. I was a little irritated, you know, a little stressed, a little frustrated. Just woke up on the wrong side of the bed, I guess you could say. And my whole day was kind of like that. You know, I was in this funk. And I remember this day vividly. My wife, she wanted me to help her put up some curtain rods. But she ended up having to go and run some errands, and I ended up having to part ways. Well, essentially, I was going on my way to the gym like I am right now. And this particular day, I was sitting at a red light. Was it? Yeah, it was a red light. I was sitting at a red light at an intersection. The light turned green, but I didn't go. You know, I hesitated because I don't know if y'all do that or not, but you know, you can't be too trusting of other people, other motorists. You know what I'm saying? Like, just because and I tell my wife that all the time, just because the light turned green, sometimes give it a few seconds, because you just never know. A lot of people has died that way or got injured really badly as far as car accidents go. I was sitting there at the red light, and the light turned green, and I hesitated for about 3 or 4 seconds, and thank goodness I did. A car, I mean, the speed limit in the area is probably at most 45 maybe. It's no reason. I know they were going every bit of 65, 70. And it's funny because nobody else moved. Like, it's like I hesitate. I mean, I ended up waiting like 3 or 4 seconds before I went. But I bumped up, and then something just told me, not something, God just told me, stop. I stopped. Car went barreling through the light, and just out of the blue. Had I went, would have definitely hit the my driver's side door. And I'm almost 1,000% sure that I won't go into no hospital. I was going to the morgue. You know what I'm saying? I had my seatbelt on and everything, but still, you know, people had their seatbelts on every day and don't make it. So I just say all that to say, and amongst other things, you know, there's been other situations, but that stood out to me because after the car went, you know, I was like, whoa, like, dang, that car could have took my whole front of my car, you know what I'm saying? I started heading on to the gym, and I was thinking to myself, all the many things that had I got hit, and especially had I not survived, that would have transpired. Like, I wouldn't have been able to help my wife with the curtain rods. You know what I'm saying? I know it seems, you know, insignificant, but I wouldn't have been able to help her with the curtain rods. I wouldn't have been able to see her again, hug her again, kiss her again. Same thing with my son. And I guarantee, I was thinking to myself, speaking of how my mood was that day, that's how I would have spent my last day on earth, my last hours on earth, is being in a funk. And I get it, you know, we're not perfect. Not every day is sunshine and rainbows, as they say. But I'm just saying, because that's why I said be conscious, because you just never know. You don't know. You just don't know whether these are your last hours. You never know when it's your last hours, minutes, seconds on earth. And I just wouldn't have wanted to spend my last hours on earth that way. And who would have helped my wife with the curtain rods? But no, for real. Look, I don't want to go too in depth in this video about all these many things in terms of death, but I do just want to be the bearer of good news, because I just want to remind you how blessed you are to currently have the moments that you have, to be in the land of the living, to watch this video, to comment on this video, to like this video, to subscribe to this channel. No, but for real, you know, I know we go through our things in life. You know, we have our chapters that are not so pleasant that we go through, and then we have our, as I mentioned, triumphant chapters, you know what I'm saying, where everything is all peachy keen, or so it seems. But either way, be grateful for life. Be grateful for the opportunity to breathe oxygen. Be grateful for the moments that you have here on earth amongst your loved ones. You know, you can still make conscious decisions and change your situations, or change your situation. The dead, there's no work for the dead. No rectifying, no dreams to be had, no dreams to fulfill. You're alive. So be grateful for that. You know, because it can all end in a second. Your whole life could be turned upside down. Real talk. So many young people in general, but young people are going to an early grave with their dreams unfulfilled. Just not a lot of life lived. Talking 21, 23, that ain't nothing, man. I think back now at 38, 21, man, I won't even just getting started. 23, I won't even just getting started. I'm just getting started now at 38. You know what I'm saying? So again, we will all get our turn. Like they say, death and taxes are inevitable. Always gonna be paying taxes. And one day, all of us will taste or feel the sting of death. It's just what it is. It's real. But that should empower you. It should empower you. That you should be fueled by death. You should be fueled by the fact that one day, this life that you have will come to an end. And you should give it everything you got. You should leave no stone unturned. And that's a note to self. I try to think about it from that perspective as well. Like, man, you know, if I only had 5 years max left to live, what would I do? What dreams would I chase down and be sure that I accomplish? You know, who would I spend more time with? Would I be working this job? Would I be driving this car? Now that's all material, you know what I'm saying? But still, because we don't know when this life is going to end. If you were to think about if you had 6 months to live, or better yet, 5 years to live, a little longer, whatever comes to your mind in terms of what you would do, I'm sure for one, there will be a lot more haste. Not haste, because haste makes waste. Like my mother-in-law liked to say. Haste make waste, but urgency behind you fulfilling those things. You actually accomplishing those goals. You actually spending time with your loved ones or people that you love. There'll be more urgency. So why not the urgency now when you don't know if today or tomorrow is your last? You know what I'm saying? Think about that. I'm going to leave it at that, you know. Hopefully you get the point, you get the picture. We all going to feel the sting of death one day. We shouldn't be afraid, you know. I'm not rushing to get there or to feel it, but it's just a truth that we all have to accept. It's a truth that we all have to accept. This thing we call life will end one day. So don't spend it depressed. Make sure you're putting everything in perspective and you're not sweating the small stuff. I had a tendency of doing that when I was younger, when I was in my early 20s, sweating the small stuff, instead of actually taking stock in all the blessings around me. You know, instead of practicing gratitude, I was nitpicking and things that, I mean nothing to me now, or that if they were to happen or I were to be in the situation today, I would keep moving. I would power through it. But I allowed them to cause stress, depression, anxiety in my life back then. Don't spend your life anxious, depressed, being negative. You know, when you don't know what's around that corner, you don't know when death is going to peek its head in and say, hey, come with me. You're next. You never know. So hopefully this video didn't fall on deaf ears. Hopefully you got something out of this video, something of value. I'm going to get my butt over to this gym. This is progression over perfection. Well, we don't strive to be perfect. We just strive to progress every day in every way imaginable. Y'all be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and tap that notification bell so you be notified whenever I drop another one of these morbid videos. Just playing. Peace and love, y'all.